One power, one power.
Welcome to The Birth of Reason. Hi, Judy Weisbart here. I'm back again. For those of you who've been to my show before, I welcome you back. For those who are new, welcome. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you will watch the other pieces that I've been doing. I've been doing it with amazing humans. We call them the incredible humans. And with my dear friend and our host, the wonderful and beautiful Belle Hahn, and a number of kids and a number of truly creative, amazing humans. So I hope you've enjoyed them all. I hope those of you who have not seen them will come back and re-look at the ones that are there. And hopefully we'll continue this for many years to come. Obviously not with my work, but with other people's work, because art speaks in myriads of ways. So I hope that you will continue to enjoy this. Today, we're going to talk about hurt, hunger, and homelessness. I have a little tagline with each one of my sculptures, and this sculpture, it is, love is the food of the soul, and compassion is the food of the body. So you need to have compassion to feed the body. A lot of people don't see that, and we need to deal with it. We need to deal with it as a community, as a country, and as a world. There's enough food. We know how to produce it. We know how to distribute it. We choose not to. It's the political will to end world hunger that is imperative. We need to have political worlds that actually speak to the human world and how we are going to deal with the problems we have. But the piece that I have is the only piece that doesn't have the earth in it. It actually has a map around it. And it was given to me by my dear friend, Sue Collin, who one day said, I don't know if you need this, but why don't you take it and come up with something? So I did. And it is a wooden form of a human, and the arms at the elbows and at the shoulders move, and at the knees, at the ankles, and at the hips move. And what I did was I took that piece, and on the front of it is everything to do with hunger and poverty. Everything. From starvation of babies with big bellies, to people living on the streets, to all of those really upsetting pictures. Going down the course of the arms and the legs and the body and the head is the map of the world. Because the thing about homelessness, hunger, and hurting, we are surrounded by it all the time. No matter where you live, it surrounds you. So we don't actually have a planet to hold. But what we do have in this sculpture is between the feet or on the lap, depending on whether it's a sitting form or a standing form, is a bowl. And in that bowl, it says love. And it's an empty bowl, except the word love. And I think that for me, that's the whole answer to this problem. It's just knowing that we can only help people if we love people. So on the back of this sculpture is the answer. And the answer is families eating together. No one off on their own, alone, starving. It's the army holding a child that has just found a home or just been fed by a military group because they're living in a war-torn zone. It's everywhere. That's why we're surrounded by the earth, why we're surrounded in the sculpture. The answers are prevalent, though. We have a lot of answers. We know how to do it. We have programs. We have food banks. I love Alice Waters. Alice Waters decided after having a Michelin-starred restaurant up in Napa Valley that she would start a program in the poorest of all of the American schools and actually teach them how to grow food and how to cook it. It's amazing.
Welcome back to The Birth of Reason. It is such an honor to be sitting here today with one of my dearest and greatest inspirations, Alice Waters. Was my childhood hero, and so every time I walk in to see her. It's a little surreal that someone planted a seed so deep within me as a little girl that has continued to blossom and pave the way for the road that has led me to this regenerative movement and to be part of not only the birth of reason, but we all hope the rebirth of this planet, and done so with no greater guest or grace than our very own, my beloved Alice.
Thank you so much, my dear. I think we're all in the process of working together to make something happen.
I would ask how your experience, your launch of your career began from, not only being this extraordinary restaurateur, but also someone that is thinking about how to feed the entire planet.
Well, first of all, I've never thought of myself as having a career. A career for a lot of people is an intentional taking of a job, making a certain amount of money, living your life in a certain way. And I guess maybe the most important thing is that I didn't care about money. It was more important that we made everybody happy who came to the restaurant. I always believed that everybody who worked in the restaurant should be working together, and there wasn't a difference between a dishwasher and a cook. I mean, they're both invaluable.
Absolutely, everybody matters.
Everybody
and the
matters.
kitchen, and also
Exactly.
where it came from matters. The roots and the soil are a huge part of the relationship to your restaurant.
Well, yes, indeed. I went to France. I arrived in Berkeley from going to the University of California here in Santa Barbara. I came here with two friends, and for a year we went to school here. But we were drinking too much, hanging out on the beach. I think I was expelled from the sorority because I was trying to cook late at night.
It's my kind of girl.
And then my friend said, there's something going on in Berkeley. Maybe we should transfer up there. And we arrived in 1964, right front and center, on thousands of people at Sproul Plaza, and heard Mario Savio speak. And it changed my life. He was so eloquent. And then he said, education isn't complete unless you take time off.
Oh, I love that.
And go to another culture. And my two girlfriends said, hey, let's go. There's very cheap flights going to France via Luxembourg. It was great because Louis Armstrong was on our flight from New York to Luxembourg, and he played the whole time. When he got off in Luxembourg, we even thought about getting off too, instead of going to Europe. But in fact, it was important. We did go to Europe and went to France. And again, it was about education. I thought I would learn French and go to the Sorbonne. All students had free access to go to museums and to go to concerts. And we were way up in the back, but I went and listened to music that changed my life, really.
It's a very interesting thread. We've had a lot of beautiful conversations and a lot of connections around food. We've never really talked about the power of music for both of us, and that is exactly my history. Was my father took me to Paris when I was 14, and I listened to music differently. I tasted in a way that I've never tasted before. My entire system woke up. My
Yep,
senses
me too.
truly, like when you said in your book, come to your senses.
So that's why I was so interested in Montessori education. And I actually went to London in 1968 to be trained. And she was back in the 1880s in Italy. She was the first female doctor, and she understood that our senses are the pathways into our brain. And I was fascinated by that. It is our senses that really inform our brain. And when we're looking at a computer all day, it's not arousing, or we're not touching, we're not smelling, we're not listening carefully, we're not seeing anything that's different. You can't see a sunset on a computer. That's just a world of beauty that is only comprehensible when you're outside and experiencing nature in that way.
You said something epic about seasonality to me yesterday, and it was that you're addicted to seasonality. And I thought if anybody could have an addiction that would be healthy on the planet, to be in tune and alignment with the seasons. It's clear that the foundation of co-creating those stars to come to you was to make everyone in your restaurant feel like one. And so, my friend, I'm a big fan of your newest cookbook that I just received, and I'm so excited about it. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and what's next for Alice Waters?
I wanted to really be able to describe a kind of food that could be eaten in public schools. And I've had a lot of experience of feeding children. I wanted to make sure that the food that I was talking about fit into the reimbursement for the food in public schools. So I wrote this book with a group of people from Chez Panisse sent from the school system, and it's called School Lunch Revolution. And so I know that it can be prepared simply, it can be eaten seasonally, organically, and regeneratively for the same price as we're spending on fast food. But it means that we have to, again, do what Chez Panisse does, buy the food directly from the farmer. It is a way of thinking about food, of course, seasonally, but very simply cooked in cuisines around the world. I mean, we all love hummus. We all love flatbreads. We all love food that has been around since the beginning of time. And we need to gather those recipes. And I figured that if the University of California decided to change the procurement of all their food, that they could connect us globally and make this idea real.
It is real. And it's right now.
It's right now. We have to do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
People have different ways of dealing with this problem. In this town, I live in Santa Barbara, we started a project 20 years ago, and it was called Safe Parking. So people who live in their cars, which is the first thing that happens when you become homeless in the United States, because you own a car, but you can't afford the home, or the first and last month's rent, or whatever. So often you'll find families in cars. And 20 years ago, we were giving tickets to those families for living in their cars on the streets. And one day, a wonderful, she worked actually as a county supervisor, Susan Rose, was having to deal with this problem during the day as a supervisor. And in the evening, she walked out of her office at 7 at night and realized there was no one in the parking lot. And from that moment until this, they started a program called Safe Parking. And it is that a dozen cars can be in one parking lot. It doesn't fill the parking lot. And all of the programs that are necessary to get rehousing, to feed the children, to get education, to talk to the family as a whole are available to them because everyone knows where they are every night. They get to be in that parking space until they can be rehomed. That is coming from a place of love. That's coming from compassion. That's what we learn. That's what this piece is about. Find ways in your community or worldwide, whether it be with Chef Andreas or whether it be with your local food bank or your local homeless shelter. If this is what calls you, if this is the change you want to see in your world, please, please find the place you belong and use your energy to change that problem. And then this show has made a difference, once again, to create a movement of conscious, loving souls who will change the world. Thank you again for listening. I hope that we have another fun time together in the next one. I hope this brought to you what you've been looking for. We all are looking for different things, so don't take it on unless it's really for you, but if it is, they need you. Thank you.
Close and hold me fast, the magic spell you guess. This is Lovey and Rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes and see Lovey and Rose, when you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday word seems to turn into love song. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be Lovey and Rose.